Now, the lawyer for the family of the Dallas man fatally shot by a police officer in his own apartment is now alleging that the police are attempting to smear him. Now, Botham Shamjan, 26, died on September 6 when off duty officer Amber Geiger walked into his apartment, allegedly thinking that she was in hers, which, by the way, was located one floor below, shot him twice, and he later died. Now, here's the thing about that. I've talked about this story a couple of times, a couple of different segments. In every segment, it seems like her story seems to change. Oh, first, no, the door was ajar. The door can't actually be ajar. There's actual video of people who live in that building showing that the door, very, very heavy. They have like an electronic key system. So like these are heavy doors. Okay, you open it and it slams shut on its own. It cannot be ajar. But she says, "Oh no, it was ajar, and I was working late. First it was 10 hours, then it was a 15-hour shift, which hey, get your numbers straight on that, and your story straight. And I was coming home and I parked in the wrong parking garage and I didn't recognize anything except that, I totally gave zero thought to it. And then I tried to open the door with my key, and then my key, well, look, if it's the wrong apartment, the key's not going to work. But then how do you notice, and why would you even use your key if the door was ajar? If it was already open? And then getting into that apartment, which apparently was completely dark, why not turn on a light? Most apartments have a light switch right next to the door where you can turn it on and see what's going on. Instead, nope, apartment's completely dark. But all we could see was, or all she could see was apparently some sort of silhouette who then she gave commands to. And when that silhouette didn't follow her commands, that's when she shot him. This does not add up. This story does not add up at all. So she changed that story. And now, unfortunately, you have police and people in the media basically rushing to defend her by smearing the victim, the person that was shot. Now, here's the thing. Now, this man gets shot and killed. And the police, they have recently released the fact that they had issued a search warrant for his apartment. Now, why would the police officer choose to search the victim's apartment? Especially before going and what were they trying to find? And why didn't they go and release the fact that they searched in her apartment? I mean, if anybody's apartment needed to get searched, it would be hers. But instead, no, they search his apartment. And again, the question is, what are they hoping to find? Well, those of you who are familiar with how this goes, they wanted to find a way to discredit the character of Mr. Jean as a way to, of course, excuse his death away. Now, that's what happened, by the way. According to the search warrant affidavit released on Thursday, police seized 2 fired cartridge casings, 1 laptop, a ballistic police vest, a backpack with police equipment and paperwork, 2 radio frequency identification keys, and this is what they're focusing on, 10.4 grams of marijuana that is equal to less than half an ounce, and a marijuana grinder, among other things, from Jean's apartment. The affidavit didn't identify who owned which items, according to a copy obtained by NBC Dallas Fort Worth. Wait. Oh, look at that. We found pot. Well, he must have been on drugs. I mean, sure, they drug tested her. But now they're probably going to drug test him. This is an absolute smear attempt. Notice, by the way, this is a running theme in a lot of these stories where an unarmed black person gets shot and killed by a police officer. And every one of them, they seem to find marijuana. Either marijuana in the system or marijuana in the home, in this case. And it always happens when they're black. And of course, look, I'm not the only one who's pointed that out. His lawyers, as I mentioned, Attorney Lee Merritt, who represents John's family, has criticized the police search warrant, which was obtained in the hours following the shooting, as an attempt to discredit Jean after his death. So they hours after the shooting, we need to investigate his apartment. We need to investigate the apartment. Get us a search warrant. Merritt immediately told the Merritt told the Associated Press that, quote, they immediately began to smear him right after the shooting. Attorney Benjamin Crump, who was also representing Jean's family, told NBC DFW that Jean's family does not know who the marijuana belongs to. Still, Crump maintained that the seized drugs were, quote, nothing but a disgusting attempt to assassinate his character now that they have assassinated his person. Colonel William Brooks, former president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, agreed. He said, this is the post-mortem character assassination of Botham Jean. The character attack is like when Emmett Till was accused of leering at a white woman who lied to legitimize his lynching. An after-death marijuana possession charge does not legitimate a homicide. Yep. What else can you say about that? It doesn't. But of course, the narrative is going to be, well, he was on drugs, so he must have been dangerous. Well, I mean, look at this dangerous black guy on the pot. He had it coming. He was a lawbreaker. He was no angel. So he deserved what was coming. David Menschel, Oregon-based criminal defense attorney and activist, called the release of the search warrant, by the way, propaganda. Now, that was made public yesterday. That was the same day as Jean's funeral. However, the search warrant for Geiger's apartment was not made public. I wonder why that is. Now, Menschel told HuffPost, an off-duty cop goes into the wrong apartment and shoots the man who lived there, dead. And so, as we've come to expect, local law enforcement is doing what it can to cast aspersions on the innocent victim, to suggest that he was no angel, and therefore apparently deserved to be shot dead in his own home. That's maddening. Imagine just sitting there, minding your own business in your own apartment. And then a cop barges in, or knocks to get... Again, we don't know how she got in. Did he let her in? Because, again, some witnesses have come forward and said, well, we heard pounding at the door, and please let me in. Please let me in. A woman's voice. And then Jean's own last words were allegedly, I can't believe you do this. But here we have him being the victim, being blamed for this. And the media is helping, by the way. Recently, there was a Fox 4 study Fox 4 had released a tweet on this. And their headline is, marijuana found, basically. That was the headline of the story. That was all they cared about. But it's in an effort. We're going to take the police's word for it every time. And if the police release this, this search warrant affidavit that says, oh, we found pot, they're going to run it. And they're not going to give you context. And they're going to, and look, you don't even need context in this point. Because that has nothing to do with him being shot and killed. Having a small amount of marijuana, or hell, having a giant amount of marijuana, does not give an officer license to kill you in your own home. Look, there's some big problems, right? There's some big problems with this case. We definitely need more. We need more facts. But Right now, this reeks of a smear job. This is why Kaepernick kneels, by the way. If you were wondering, stuff like this, killing somebody and then blaming them for their own death, that's why Kaepernick kneels. If you don't understand that, you never will. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.